Welcome, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my thesis to you. I am Evelien ten Elsen. I'm working for the Dutch railway company, and that is also my application company. What is my thesis all about? In the policy of NS, the customer is central, and therefore in all measures to improve the quality of the train journey, NS puts the customer on 1, 2 and 3. However, temporarily emergency issues occur with changing circumstances in the mobility of the Netherlands. For example, like public events like Queen's Day, or for example like works on the tracks, when people cannot travel by train from A to B, NS has to provide alternative transportation to bring people from A to B. Temporarily emergency issues are issues that is not business as usual. These issues ask for adjustments in the fields of logistics, operations, crowd management and, for example, communications. So this study is about a new approach to temporarily emergency issues. The research problem in question, innovation of railway infrastructure as temporarily emergency issues, has generally taken a reductionist approach. This is definitely the most appropriate approach for part of the event, for the technical part of the temporarily emergency issues. But it is an approach that neglects the fact that the other part of temporarily emergency issues, the relational part, involves all kinds of stakeholders acting in a complex system of stakeholders. As a result, interventions and interactions are highly focused on material issues and planning components, and thereby limiting the understanding of complex interrelationships between material planning components and human components such as collective creativity and engagement within the system. So the challenges that come up with this reductionistic approach are a fall in customer satisfaction figures, and these issues entail a major risk on stakeholder management and on the corporate identity of NS. So in this study it is suggested that rather than taking a reductionist mechanistic perspective, it is more useful to treat temporarily emergency issues as an aspiring, evolving discourse. So what are the effects of innovating railway infrastructure as emergent discourse? NS is a traditional organization established in the industrial society. And in the industrial society, NS faced complicated problems in which the Newtonian linear logic was the most appropriate logic to cope with these complicated problems. But NS is now entering the networked society, and in the connected society NS faces new kinds of problems, complex problems, problems in which everything is interrelated. So to cope with the complex part of temporarily emergency issues, I will liberate strategically the collective creativity and engagement within the system. And I will do that by exploring complexity science insights as complementary paradigm in order to understand and cope with the complex part of temporarily emergency issues in a more effective way. I did that by combining the new theory which I've learned during the Imagineering course with the existing theory within NS to align with the existing worldview within NS. I have taken the model, that is the pyramid of customer needs, that is developed specifically for NS by Mark van Hagen. Mark van Hagen is my mentor of the application company, and in this model you can very well see the distinction between the technical part of the company and the relational part of the company. And only when those two parts are cooperating very well together, we can come to a total quality experience. Well, to liberate strategically the collective creativity and engagement within the system and in the B2B environment, I applied the Imagineering design methodology as research design. I did that because this method designs for emerging processes in human systems in the connected society. First, I analyzed the situation, and I did that by taking or having a lot of conversations with people in the field of temporary emergency issues. I brooded on patterns, on processes, on interactions, relationship, languages, and I took some interviews with people working in this field to discover the generative field of value creation. Based on this, I created a contextual vision, and I designed an adaptive tension engine in a narrative mode to broaden the minds of the stakeholders and to inspire them to participate in the value creation process. I did that by designing some inspiring interventions and participatory interventions. I experienced with the visions by implementing 4 design experiments in the co-creative perspective. And I conclude that applying complexity science insights as complementary paradigm is very effective to cope with the complex part of temporarily emergency issues. Of course, there is just one step, be it an important one, in the process to realize an emergent discourse at temporarily emergency issues. So my recommendations to the company are that it is very, very, very important to distinguish the problem types within temporarily emergency issues, because temporarily emergency issues contain different problem types, and the complicated problems ask for another logic and approach to cope with than the relational part, the complex part of temporarily emergency issues. So I recommended that the management should take or should shift from hierarchical approaches towards horizontal approaches in the complex part of temporarily emergency issues, so that stakeholders can engage themselves collectively and creatively to improve value creation. Besides that, the management should be behind the idea of shifting the strategic focus from the goods dominant logic to the service dominant logic, to the co-creative logic. And therefore I designed an artifact, Sporen voor de toekomst, Tracks for the Future, to inspire stakeholders to participate in the value co-creating process. And the goal is, of course, to create value for society at large. Thank you very much.